Good morning. My name is Emily. Welcome to my channel. This is Sunrise Stretch and Sit, where we grab our favorite beverage. Usually it's coffee. Today I'm a tea person. And yeah, we wake up nice and slow. I've got my space heater on. I've got my doggo over there in the corner. She loves heat. So if you see her little body like in our video, she's just chilling with us. So let's go ahead and get started. Today we are going to use a foam roller. If you don't have one, that's a-okay. Don't worry, just do your best. I'll try to give my modifications as we go. That way you can still join in. Also grab a block. If you don't have a block, you can use a book. Just make sure it's not slippery. I don't want you to slide anywhere. A strap or a scarf, whatever you have. And then if you have a comfy pillow or a yoga bolster or a blanket, just something to get you nice and cozy for our Shavasana at the end. So let's go ahead and get started here. I'll grab all my props, keep my beverage handy. All right. I love this class because there's so many toys to play with. All right. You ready, Doris? Take off my cow slippers. Had those for so long. Okay. Welcome. At any point, you're welcome to take a nice sip of your beverage. But first, let's just go ahead and get started. We'll find a comfortable seated position. If you want, you can even take that pillow or your bolster just to bring your hips up off the floor a little bit, relieve any pressure in the hips. We'll just take our palms up, rest them on the knees. We'll close the eyes down, roll the shoulders back a few times. Just start to settle into your breathing. Just relaxing. Start to feel the shoulders are wide. Imagining the top of your head reaching up as the tailbone reaches down, lengthening through the spine, growing tall. Letting go of the legs. No tension in the hips or in the ankles. Finding a soft face. Just starting to breathe with intention, observing your breath. Becoming aware of how the lungs expand with each inhale. Just noticing the softness in the body as you exhale. Starting to calm any racing thoughts that are going through your mind. As we take this time to just find a place of groundedness, finding a place of reflection, finding a place to look forward. Taking one more deep breath in, inhale, filling up the lungs, and exhale. Slowly we'll allow the eyes to open up. Just coming into this space. And we're just going to start to take those arms out to the side, just circling through the wrists. Just finding that rotation at the extremities, in and out. moving through each finger, just opening and closing the hands, spreading them nice and wide, extending through the palm, and then squeezing the fist in. Good. Rotating up and down, just exploring the movement in the hand and the wrist. And then bringing the palms back down to the knees, just taking the chin into the chest. We're going to take a nice full circle, moving slowly here. Still feeling that our shoulders are stacked right over our hips. As if we're tracing a circle on the ceiling, right at the crown of your head. We're going to pause when our right ear meets our right shoulder and placing our opposite hand up. Just letting gentle pressure, don't push, just feeling gravity work here. Lengthening the side of the neck and maybe put that opposite arm back behind you. Just reaching back, extending. Deep breath. Coming back into the center. We'll go the opposite way. Find the other circle. Still tracing. Still breathing. Just noticing any specific places of tightness. And this time left ear to left shoulder. Breathe, reach. And release, coming back into the center. We're going to take both arms up overhead. Deep breath in. Palms will come together to touch. And then peeling one arm off, letting that right arm fall down to the side. Then rest it at the hip or reach all the way down to the floor. And just open up that side body. If you start to feel that top arm is a little bit too strained, go ahead and bend that elbow, placing the hand behind the head. Coming back up to the center, meeting the palms, or again, keeping those hands behind the head. And then we peel over to the other side. Reach long. We'll do this once more each side. Take a deep breath in. And exhale, peel. And inhale. Exhale, peel. Deep breath in. And then exhale, just taking those hands through the heart center. Feel the shoulders down the back. Feel the pressure of the palms. And then just starting to rub those palms together, creating some heat, energy, feeling that friction. And then we'll allow those hands to separate, just feeling that energy. Down to the knees, roll the shoulders back. Allow this movement to feel good. Again, just building through that range of motion. And we'll reverse, roll the shoulders forward. Good. Release back at the center. Go ahead and take a sip of coffee or tea. I'm so used to saying coffee. At English breakfast today. Back at the center, continue to feel that spine is nice and long. We're going to move through our spine. So start with a deep breath in. We open up the chest. You can place your hand on the front of the sternum if that's helpful. And then exhale, feel that belly pull in, push back, rounding the spine. This is a modified cat-cow. So we inhale, coming up into that cow spine. And exhale, we pull back, adjusting the tailbone, pulling that under. A few more times, deep breath in. And exhale. One more inhale. And exhale. Good, continue here. Just making some circles. Letting it feel easy in the body. Just moving through the spine. Rib cage goes right to left. Circles. Anything that feels right. Most of us here, myself included, are still waking up. Slowly release. Coming back. We're going to remove that bolster from underneath us. Just set it to the side. You can always come back to it later. Stretch those legs out. Remove any of that fleshiness from underneath the sits bone. And just take a second to circle out through the ankles. Making sure to go both ways, in and out. Wiggling the toes. And just releasing from the tops of the hips. Very nice. Bringing those knees back in. We're going to find, again, a comfortable seated position. You can alternate which ankle is on top here. Sitting up tall, we're going to start with an easy twist. So taking our right hand across, we reach, placing the opposite hand behind us. Keep growing your spine tall as you gaze back, feeling the belly button pulling in. And release, coming back into the center. We go the opposite side. Reach tall, allowing those eyes to lead you back. And coming back to the center. One more time, first side again. Reach. And coming back. And second side. Reaching across. Good, coming back. We're going to place those feet right out in front of us. Hands will come behind us for some support. Taking the feet wider than the knees here. And we drop one knee in. And then we change. Be careful not to sink in the shoulders here. We want to feel the shoulders are away from our ears. We just find some internal rotation. And I got a nice hip hop in there. Not hip hop, but hip hop. That's a bad joke. Sorry. Good. And coming back into the center once again, stretching those legs out, giving them a little shake. Very nice. We are going to come toward our roller. So I have this little roller. Whatever you have around is excellent. Sometimes you can even use a water bottle. If it's not glass, don't use glass, please. Or like a disposable plastic. But if you have a really hard, durable plastic water bottle, or even if you're gentle, like a steel water bottle, those can sometimes work. You can also wrap them in some fabric just to give it a little bit of softness. I'm loving this English breakfast tea. Okay, so we're going to start nice and gentle, and just rolling our calves out. So how this works, we're going to place our hands behind us, and I'm just going to start one at a time. So I want to roll all the way from the bottom of my knee. So I don't want to be underneath my knee, but the very top of my calf muscle. So I'm never going to roll past right there. I'm just going to roll back and forth. And I'm just going to start out with the front, or the back side of the calf. And then I can start to rotate my leg to get to the outside, and then even to the inside of the calf. Just a couple times here. then we can switch legs. So you can also do both legs at the same time, but I'm taking it nice and slow this morning. So this is great to do if you are an athlete of any kind, whether that be professional or recreational, or even if you just go on walks or something like that. I don't know, rolling up really does help to release that fascia or any built up lactic acid. There it is. Woo. Good. Go ahead and release. We'll shake those legs out a little bit. Now we're going to come to the good stuff. So we're going to start at the very top of that hamstring. So it'll feel right below the sits bone. And from here, I need to adjust myself a little bit forward. I'm going to run into my preps. Again, just back and forth. And we can use our hands behind us just to kind of gauge how much pressure. So if you feel like you don't have enough pressure, you can walk those hands in a little bit further. Just get more of your body weight on top. Good. And let's go to the other side. Very nice. And we're slowly going to release. Excellent. We're going to come back to our glutes and our IT bands, the side of the leg, in just a moment. But we're going to go ahead and work onto our back. So sometimes if you have heavy sweatshirts or something kind of like this, they can get stuck underneath you. So just be cautious. So I'm going to start just placing that roller right at the middle of my back. And then from here, just coming down onto that, I'm just going to let it be. Just allow yourself to relax there for a moment. And then I found the best way for me, I like to come into what would be a crunch position, and I can keep my feet nice and wide onto the floor. And then I can just move, pressing my feet in and pulling through the floor, up and down the back. And you might feel a little bit of abdominal work here, and that is a-okay. You can even come into a high arch as you reach into that upper back. Just a few more back and forth, rolling through. And slowly release, coming back into the center. Hopefully that feels great. We're now going to move on to the glutes. So we're going to start by just lifting up, placing that roller right underneath our glutes. Hi, Doris. We're going to turn out that leg. And I like to bend my leg almost as if I'm in that cobbler pose position and just go forward and back. And you'll feel those big muscles almost rolling over. It's an interesting sensation. It should feel good, especially if you've done a lot of like running or heavy lifting, squats, things like this. I've recently started running more. I've always loved to run, but if you don't know, I'm a professional dancer as well. So running and dancing, it's a lot of impact on the body. So yeah, I've had a hard time, but I've been dancing a little bit less, so that means that I can run a little bit more. But my legs are heavy. And I'm just going to switch to the other side. One cheek at a time. And I do tend to roll backwards a little bit. And then we still want to try to keep the shoulders down, so we don't want to be sinking here. We still want to try to maintain posture as much as we can. And then slowly release, coming back down off of that roller. And just go ahead and stretch the legs out. We're going to take a deep hamstring stretch here. Be gentle with yourself still, but deep breath. Inhale, elongate that spine, and then exhale, reaching forward. Try to see if you can drop that head down last. You can keep those hands out to the outsides of the legs, or even if you have your block or strap here, a great place to use that. Good, and slowly coming back up. Excellent. We're going to go ahead and come into our side. So face the camera whichever way you can. And I'm going to come onto my left leg first, but right, left, we'll get them both, don't worry. I'm going to place that roller right at the top of my hip. So you know where that femur starts to insert into the hip, the pelvis? That's where I want that to go. I'm going to keep this leg bent. So the same leg that's on my hip, keeping that one bent for now. The opposite leg, I'm going to place in front of that leg. Yeah, that's just going to give me some stability. Same thing, I'm going to push and pull with that front leg. Now, I'm going to stretch that back leg as much as is comfortable. You can keep it bent the whole time. And we're just going to roll forward and back on the outside of our leg here. This is really getting into that hip flexor toward the top. And then all the way through that IT band. And this is something that I've found just throughout a career in dance, one of the most painful but necessary things to release. Good. And make sure you keep breathing. Oxygen is good and necessary. Good. Just a few more moments here. Forward and back, making sure that when we do get close to the knee, we do not go all the way to the knee. So we can get close, but we don't want to reach it. We don't want to pass that knee. You always want to stay on those big muscle joints, those meaty places. Good. I'm going to come down onto my elbow, and I'm going to flip to face my mat. I'm going to keep that knee out to the side, and now I can really access the front of the hip here. So right along the front of the hip as well as into the quad. So you can go all the way forward, using some arm strength here. Again, not passing the knee, but just working toward the front of the quad. Good. Just a few more times. And we'll slowly release, finding our way onto hands and knees, our table pose. Let's keep those knees together, or toes together, knees apart, and come into a child's pose. And just see if you can notice the difference in each of your hips. You might feel a little bit more freedom in that hip that you've rolled out. And you might still feel a little bit of tightness in that opposite hip, but we'll get there in just a second. Good. We slowly come all the way back up. Grab a sip. Oh, the sun is starting to rise. It's a beautiful pink purple this morning. Not red. No warning here. All right, let's go with the opposite side. So we start off with that IT band, remembering we want to get into that outside of the hip. And these transitions might feel a little bit awkward. I should feel like a spider or something like that. To place that other foot, that top foot, right in front of you. And then just start forward and back. Again, you can keep that knee bent the whole time behind you. You're stretched. And it's always interesting, if you start to play around with stretching or bending that knee, you'll start to feel different muscles in different places on the legs. And then getting into that IT band. Still breathing. Just a few more moments here. really hurts, just think happy thoughts. Good. And here we go. Turning to face the mat. We're getting into the top of the hip flexor as well as the quad. And kind of the same idea here. You can also feel that rotation of your back leg, so the leg that is on top of the roller. If you turn it internal, you'll feel more of that outside. If you turn it out, you'll feel more of that inside. A few more times. And then slowly, just making your way back off of that roller. Oh, stretch those legs out. We're going to come into our cobbler's pose. So bring those feet together. Sitting up nice and tall. You can find that bolster or block underneath the hips if you want. Deep inhale. And exhale, fold it forward. Good, coming back up. Taking those feet out in front of you. Once again, we're going to windshield wiper these knees in and out. Excellent. Great. I'm going to grab my yoga strap or your scarf or a jacket, whatever you have. Just keep that accessible right next door. All right. So good. I'm going to start by bringing my left leg out, my right leg in. Feeling both sits bones down here. And I'm going to take that strap and just wrap it around my foot on the side. So the strap is really helpful here. It just helps us to get better access to our feet and to our legs. So we can use that strap to help us stretch our back out and continue pulling with our arms here. So even if this is as far as you go, that's great. You want to keep those elbows in by the side, shoulders back and down, or you can keep extending all the way forward. I'm taking a few deep breaths here. You might feel that stretch in the lower part of your back too. Still try to feel the hip bones are sinking down, so we're feeling that anchor. Good. And we're coming back up. Go ahead and switch legs. Right foot out, left in. Placing that strap around the foot. Saddling in. Even weight. Here we go. Breathing, shoulders down, spine long, and stretch. And we come back up, removing that strap. Stretch both legs out in front of you. We're going to take that hamstring stretch one more time. Forward fold. So this time we can place the strap right underneath the feet. Keep the shoulders down and back. Flex the feet and fold. Beautiful. Releasing, finding that strap just down by the side. We might come back to it later as we're on our backs. Let's just keep it accessible. Oh. Oops. The tag of my tea fell off. That's okay. All right. We are now going to come down onto our backs. If you want, you can go ahead and get cozy again. I'm going to. just take this moment to adjust. Go ahead and have your block nearby, have your bolster nearby. Drink some tea because it's hard to do that lying down. And nice and slow, we're going to lower ourselves down. Being aware of each and every vertebrae as you roll down. Letting that head rest. And when you arrive, just keeping the soles of the feet on the floor. You can turn the head from right to left. Excellent. We're going to pick our right knee up, pulling that knee into our chest, and taking an ankle circle with that right foot, inside and outside. And then pulling that knee out to the outside of the ribs, and then across the midline. So just back and forth here, almost like you're massaging the top of the femur. And stretch that leg straight up to the sky. Give it a little bit of a shake, just releasing the leg, feeling the weight of the leg back into the floor. And then stretching it long, reaching it out. Slowly it meets the floor. Folding that leg back in, bending the knee, and the opposite side. Starting with that hug, keeping the shoulders connected to the floor. Just ankle circles. Pause, knee, back and forth. And stretch the leg up, a little bit of a shake. Keep that leg heavy into the floor. And flex it out, reaching it long. And draw that foot back, the foot back in, placing the feet directly underneath the knees. Hands will come down by our sides. And we roll up vertebrae by vertebrae. So feel the tailbone tuck under, lifting up. And then slowly rolling back down, one vertebrae at a time. We'll take 2 more times just like this. Just being aware of each part of the back as it connects to the mat and as it leaves. And one more time. Feel weight in all parts of the feet. Good, and then hug both knees into the chest. You can lift that head up, kneading the forehead into the knees. Little rock. And then release. Give yourself a full body stretch here. Extending out, letting those ribs open up. And slowly coming back. I'm going to grab my block. We're going to come into our supported bridge. So lifting up those hips once again, placing that block at any height. You can take that highest height or the middle or the low height. We want to place it underneath the pelvis. So the heaviest part right there. And then just letting those arms come down by the sides. And breathe. You can close down the eyes. If you want, you can try to take those arms out into your cactus arms or your goalpost arms here, finding those elbows at a 90-degree bend. And just breathe. Feel yourself melting.
One more deep breath. Nice. We slowly release that block and let yourself come down nice and easy all the way to the mat. And one more time, hug those knees into your chest. And bringing the feet back down, we're going to take our right leg up and just crossing that right leg over the body. Big supine twist here. You can extend the leg out, whatever feels good. Trying to keep both of the shoulders onto the mat, maybe gazing away from the outstretched foot. And release back into the center. Resetting the spine, bringing the pelvis to the middle. And we'll go with the opposite side. And take that leg up and over. And breathe. Coming back into the middle. One last time, just resetting. Hug those knees into the chest. Lift the head up. Reach the head into the knees. And then allow yourself to stretch those legs long. We're finding our way into our final Shavasana. So you can let those hands hang out by the sides, turn the feet in and out. Let the head rock from right to left. Closing down the eyes, heavy here. Just finding that place of comfort. That place of security, groundedness. As we enter into the new year, 2021, there's a lot of excitement and maybe some hesitation as well. But we can try to take just one step at a time as we move ahead, not needing to forge forward with all the great force, but knowing that sometimes a longer journey with awareness and intentionality ultimately serve us, those around us, our community, our world in a much greater capacity. Keeping the eyes closed, just take one more deep breath. And then slowly we'll start to stretch out those arms, wiggle through the fingers and the toes. Just slowly make your way back up to a seated position. Draw those hands into the heart, melting the eyes down. One more deep breath in and out. Joining me today, I wish you a very happy Tuesday. Just so you are aware, this is the last week of my winter session. So tomorrow I have a Vinyasa flow class at 9 a.m. And turn down this volume just a little bit. Can't figure out how, that's okay. Tomorrow I have a
Vinyasa Flow, 9 a.m. On Thursday, I have a 45-minute ballet bar, also at 9 a.m. Stay tuned though, because I am planning on having a regular schedule that will extend throughout May. So I'll have 1 to 2 classes every single week. If you have something that you really have loved, please send me a comment, send me a message, contact me somehow, because I love that feedback and I want to be here for what it is that you need. So again, happy New Year. Please subscribe to this channel if you have not. Please share it with friends. Please like this video. And until next time, take care.